Hello, happy Saturday. It is June 17th, 2023, and welcome to Spark Joy Astrology. Today we have a new moon in Gemini that is squaring Neptune in Pisces and is conjunct, meaning right next to Asteroid Juno. So commitment is part of this flavor new moon today. I can tell you, friends, that anytime Neptune is involved, watery themes could potentially be part of your day. And me today, wow, deep breath. I've been dealing with a flood here in Colorado. We've had unusual amounts of rain, and my basement is flooding and my poor son's room is moldy and it is not fun. So there is an example of Neptune square energy, but hopefully that is not what's happening in your life. But we're going to dive into the astrology of the day that leads us up to this new moon in Gemini that is happening at the very end of the evening and maybe possibly first thing in the morning if you're in a different time zone. But here in Colorado, Mountain Standard Time, the new moon will come in at 10:37 p.m. this evening. But what leads us up to that particular lunation? Well, first of all, let's back up. What is a new moon exactly? It is when the moon comes to meet the sun at the exact same degree within the same constellation. So today we have the sun and the moon coming together at 26 degrees in Gemini. So now let's back up and start where the moon did at midnight this morning. She was at 14 degrees of Gemini, and she had just gotten done making a sextile to Venus. And that was a beautiful energy. Moon sextiling Venus offers us up a sensitivity, an emotional connective energy. It is a beautiful social energy. And so that trine continued on just into this day. And so at 2:15 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, Mars in Gemini, our analytical energy, made this harmonious balancing aspect to Mars in Leo. Leo is the heart energy of the zodiac. It is represented by the lion, the king of the jungle, the queen of the jungle, this authentic, love-centered energy. It is really truly what lights us up in our lives. So with Mars, well, Venus is there also, the lovers being in Leo, and then making this connection to all that's happening in the new moon energy today, you have this balance effect of the heart and the mind. So today, friends, we are being tested. Are we able to stay in that balance, or are we being thrown off? We are still dealing with the Mercury square Saturn aspect that happened a few days ago. If you did not watch that video, go back, friends, because this energy is still very much a part of today and tomorrow. It does soften tomorrow, and we invite a new beautiful sextile to Jupiter from Saturn. So there will be a softening of this tense energy, but there is some challenge to weed through when it comes to, can we stay in that balanced heart-mind coherence? All right, so what exactly does the moon sextiling Mars mean? Simply, it means that you might have this desire to emotionally achieve, to go out and do something, or work on your body, or just feel kind of hot and spicy. There is this electric energy when Mars is sextiling anything. Mars is the warrior, and so all the good aspects of the warrior are highlighted with a sextile. So that is passion and drive and perseverance, and so all these positive aspects, right? And sex being one of those. Mars represents this powerful, passionate energy. So you may have this desire to connect in an intimate way with your partner today, or even not your partner, maybe just people of the opposite sex. There is this increased ability to communicate intuitively and just more sweetly when this sextile happens. So 2:15 a.m., that was a Bruin, and that was at 16 degrees when they made that sextile. Then a little bit later, 9:20 a.m., not the moon, two other players come in, but it's Venus who's hanging out right next to Mars. Venus is at 10 degrees, so they're 6 degrees apart. They're close enough to feel one another. But Venus there in Leo is making a sextile to Mercury. Mercury is in Gemini. Mercury is with the moon and the sun and asteroid Juno. And Mercury, friends, being here is pretty special. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, so he's home here. He can fully be himself. And let me tell you, friends, Mercury is a cool self. Mercury, being an androgynous character, is able to alchemize all the feelings, all those challenging things, to turn them into a balanced point, because Mercury is able, so his mythology is Apollo. Apollo is able to go into heaven, into hell, and carry the messages of the gods back and forth. And so this ability to go into Shadowland and heavenly realms translates into our own body, into the deep tissues of challenge, and into the more heightened energy of good vibration. So he is able to alchemize this challenge and bring into balance, into harmony. So with him being the ruler of this moon, being in the home sign of Gemini, we have that chance to find that balance through the strife. So what this beautiful aspect will bring up between Mercury, our alchemical wizard of communication, sextiling, balancing, harmonizing, Venus, our relationships, our finances, all things we find beauty, is that we find really stimulating good vibes. There is the desire to be more friendly with people, more cheerful. Creative endeavors are really heightened. And this is a great aspect in the morning of a new moon coming this evening, because our imaginations are heightened. So what a new moon is the beginning of a lunar cycle. Lunar cycles are 28 days, and they end in a full moon. They start with the moon and the sun coming together at the same point in a constellation, and then they end with them being opposing one another, across from one another. And that's why the moon is able to receive all of the sun's rays and fully light up. In a new moon, the sky is dark because they're right next to one another, and she cannot receive those rays. So in the darkness, in the void space, we plant intention seeds. So this aspect at 9:20 a.m. really heightens our ability to make beautiful intention seeds. And the next fun that happens really fuels these seeds even more. The moon makes 3 aspects to minor asteroids, 3 of my favorite asteroids, 2 of which are also in Leo with the lovers, flavoring that heartfelt energy and that ability to step into our authentic nature if we're courageous enough. The opposite spectrum of this particular energy is not being brave, of being kind of a wimp. So depending on where you're at in the spectrum of you could be inviting a lot of love in, though. And this is beautiful. So here comes our moon. She moves. We left her at 16 degrees, making that sextile to Mars. Now she moves to 18 degrees, so only 2 degrees further, and still making an aspect in Leo. So that means that these 2 characters, Mars and Black Moon Lilith at 18 degrees, are conjunct. So this blending of passion and sexual energy, friends. Black Moon Lilith, her story is that she was Adam's first wife, and she refused to submit to him as a submissive because she was not made from his rib. They were made from equal parts of earth. And so this broke up. They did not work because she refused to be submissive. And so what she represents is, at the lower level of being, is fear, control, jealousy, and then on the opposite spectrum is independence, sovereignty, owning sexual identity, no more shame. So somewhere in there, our moon, we're checking in with our emotional self, and we're saying, where do you feel? Do you have some healthy independence in your life? And are you on the spectrum of maybe feeling more shame and guilt and control, repressed sexuality? Where's it at, friends? But Mars is definitely blending with this energy. So that passionate energy is asking you, where are you fearful in passion? Where are you fearful? What is blocking you? Or are you free? Are you feeling that beautiful freedom? All right. Then the moon moves one more degree and makes a sextile in the opposite spectrum of the wheel. She was going this way, now she's going this way, 3 houses away, to Aries. Aries is home to Chiron, the asteroid of the wounded healer. The story of Chiron is that this particular energy is the piece in us that brings us the most pain and the most potential to work on ourselves and do that shadow work, to transmute it, which is Mercury, friends. Remember our wizard over there being able to alchemize, but transmute the pain into wisdom so that we can share that wisdom and heal others. So Chiron in Aries, Aries being very much about our egos, and Chiron trying to heal our egos. So the moon checking in with a bit of a healing of our ego energy, packing that into our potent new moon seeds. We move on one more degree and come back to Leo. This is another asteroid that is also conjunct to Black Moon Lilith. This is Pallas Athena, friends. Pallas Athena is Athena in mythology. She birthed herself right out of Zeus's head, her father, and was ready to go into battle with her full armor on, strategizing and independent and strong. So she represents this empowerment energy. So pack that into your little seed. Do you feel empowered? Where do you not feel empowered? How can you use your energy to create an intention to get you to where you want to be? Okay, and so this is early on in the day that all of this happens. It's getting us ready for what happens next, which is a Saturn retrograde. Saturn is in Pisces at 7 degrees, and here at 7 degrees, he looks from our vantage point on Earth to now be going backwards. He's going to go all the way back through Pisces to 0 degrees of Pisces on November 4th. That is the retrograde period, 0 to 7, today to November 4th. If you have any planets in that particular range, this is going to affect you pretty big, friends. And when Saturn, our planet that represents maturity, his archetype is Father Time, Chronos. So taskmaster, maturity, responsibility, boundaries, discipline. He's grandpa. He's about karma and justice. He wants you to do the best you can. Grandpa loves you, but grandpa is going to be hard and make sure you're making the good choices to get you to that good place in life. So when retrogrades happen, we're asked to go inward with this particular energy. So with Saturn energy going inward, we are reevaluating our boundaries. We're reevaluating our discipline and our commitments, our goals. And because we are having it flavored with Pisces, it's in Pisces, this is spiritual energy. Where are our spiritual disciplines coming in our life? Are we committed to a spiritual practice? This is really important. Neptune being in this particular house as well, co-present with Saturn, really highlights this Pisces house for this new moon, which naturally squares Gemini. So we have some tension and challenge coming in from Saturn, and he's going retrograde, so even more tension. That official retrograde happened at 11:26 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So this began a few month period of a reevaluation of our inner discipline, of our commitments. The great thing about this particular energy is that on starting tomorrow, it starts, but on Monday, we have the sextile of Saturn to Jupiter in Taurus. So there will be this miracle grow to our new moon seeds today. So start to look inward. Where can you readjust boundaries and readjust your commitments to be able to get to those goals and Saturn's long-term goals, friends? So, okay, that is a big one. We can probably touch on that a little later. I will, as it makes aspects to other friends as it moves back to 0 degrees. But we continue on back to the moon. We left the moon making that sextile to Pallas Athena in Leo at 20 degrees as she moves one more degree to 21 degrees, she makes a minor aspect to Uranus, who's in Taurus. So I just mentioned Saturn is going to make a positive, harmonious aspect to Jupiter in Taurus. But before that happens, first the moon's going to check in with Uranus and say, okay, have you had any aha moments, revelations? Do you want to revolutionize your life around these new moon seeds? Because this energy is about simple aha moments, but it's subtle, friends, so you may not have really felt it. I actually did. It's funny, when I was prepping this, I was like, oh man, 11:45, I had just gotten done teaching yoga and I was bouncing around doing handstands. This energy, moon semi-sextile, meaning positivity, to that Uranus it's childlike bliss, it's free-spirited energy. So it's kind of fun to pack into that new moon seed today, which is where we go next, friends. So our moon now moves from 21 degrees away from that semi-sextile to Uranus and all the way up to 26 degrees where she finds the sun. Hello, sun in Gemini. This is our last new moon in spring. Summer starts next week. Yay! Summer solstice is on the 21st, and this will be when our moon, or rather our sun, moves into Cancer. So, you know, he's at the end of Gemini here at 26 degrees. So there is kind of a celebration now as the sun and the moon come together, celebrating the journey through. And as they come together, they are meeting Juno. Juno is at 26 degrees and then moves to 27 by the end of the night and actually makes a lovely aspect to Neptune. So there is this quality of partnership and commitment really infused, tied beautifully into this lunation. But it can be maybe some dreamy partnership because it's a square to Neptune. Perhaps you're dreaming about this partnership that you're not able to quite bring into balance. The yin and the yang is challenged. But friends, I just want to reiterate before I leave how beautiful the offering of balance is with this particular moon. We have this heart-brain coherence coming into play with Venus and Mars in Leo, and then the sun and moon in Gemini. These are yin and yang, making a harmonious, by nature of Venus, aspect, linking up the mind and the heart, creating that coherence. And then you also have our Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, this other house that is very much a part of this energy. And inside this house, you find these two polarizing energies. Saturn is the task worker, the task master rather, wants you to work. And then Neptune is the dreamer, the visionary, who wants you to actually imagine and visualize and use that tactic to get what you want. So these two, they may feel opposite, but all of that lovely Venus, Mars in Leo, Sun, Moon in Gemini balance offers you the ability to tune in to your intuition, into your analytical side, and do the work to make your dreams happen. That's this new moon, friends. So with all of that circling in your mind, get ready. Set some seeds of intention down by writing them on paper, and maybe go bury them in the earth or light them on fire and let the ashes blow out into the cosmos this evening. But offer it up to Mother Earth, offer it up and out, and let your potent new seeds be fertilized on Monday when Jupiter makes that sextile to Saturn, our workhorse. He's gonna get some miracle grow scattered on him. So I love you all so much, and I apologize that this video took so long today, but man, was it a challenge. Gemini energy offered up a serious challenge of finding a quiet place. Everywhere I went was a hustle and bustle of people and things and leaf blowers and vacuums. All right, well, I'm just glad I got it in. So I hope you have a great day. Happy new moon planting, and I will see you on Monday. Mwah.